BJD has failed to protect Odia pride. Here is a chief minister who cannot converse with the people in Odia. The problem is when the bureaucrat becomes super chief minister. It's the issue of Odia self-pride, which is Odia Asmita. When our government comes, we would like our chief minister to be leading us from the front, and he would not be remote controlled. Prime Minister Modi is the need of the nation.
Thank you very much for joining us. In a nutshell, what is this election about, and what do you say in your speeches? What are the key things you say in your speeches?
We are trying to wrest the government of Orissa from the hands of Biju Janata Dal under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, number one. And number two, we want our Honorable Prime Minister to be the Prime Minister of the country for the third time. So there are 21 Lok Sabha seats in Orissa, and we have 147 Vidhan Sabha seats. We have to reach that 74 mark to form the government here. And Naveen Patnaik's government of Biju Janata Dal has been continuing for the past 24 years. This time, in fact, there is a very favorable atmosphere. Everybody wants Prime Minister Modi. I must start by saying that the concern is to have more number of seats in the Lok Sabha and also to have the government here. We were at 8 last time. 8 out of 21 were ours. This time we really want to catch hold of as many seats as possible, if I can say so. Prime Minister Modi is the need of the nation. I mean, these are not my words. I went to a village in my constituency, and interestingly, women came out and said that we are very fond of Modi. Modi is required by all of us. Modi is required by the nation. I was aghast. I mean, these are not my words. I had never thought about it. So I think this is where Modi stands here in Odisha.
You were a commissioner here, so you know the place, you know the state well. If your government were to come in at the local level, what is the 2 or 3 things that are wrong with the state, and what would you do to change them?
Wonderful question. See, we are going to have a system which would be run by the chief minister himself, who has the people's mandate. In one line, I must say. The chief minister has the people's mandate. He cannot outsource his governmental system, as simple as that. He cannot be remote controlled. So there comes the issue of Odia pride. So number one, when our government comes, we would like our chief minister to be leading us from the front, and he would not be remote controlled. He would not be outsourcing his government. This is one part. Number two, you get into the issues related to Orissa. Please go deep into it. Unemployment status. 23 years of rule of one particular political party, one particular chief minister. There is absolute stability, I must say. The International Labour Organization, a couple of days back, brought out the report on unemployment status in India in 2024, just a couple of days back. What they had done is they surveyed about 22 states in the country with regard to the status of unemployment. And unfortunately, Orissa ranks first as far as unemployment status is concerned. 42% of our educated girls and boys are unemployed. So this is something which is a matter of concern, more so because we are very rich in natural resources. I mean, you have to link it to that. We are very rich in natural resources. Human resource is also extremely good. We have 35% of the coal reserves in the country in Orissa. We have 70% of the bauxite in Orissa. We have 98% of chromite in Orissa. 1400 millimeter of rainfall per year, which is quite high. And 480 kilometers of beautiful sea coastline. So everything is there, and still we are, as far as per capita income is concerned, we are among the bottom 5 states in the list of 29 states. So poverty, unemployment. Third, I must add to it, the women here are into SHGs, self-help groups. Every state they are into SHGs. 70 lakh women are into SHGs. 8th March 2001, the Mission Shakti movement had been started by this government. Now, I was also the director of Mission Shakti for full 4 years. And that the intention of the government then, the chief minister was quite young then. The intention was to form the groups and to actually give them self-employment ventures. But it never happened. Groups were formed. Self-employment ventures have not been given. You go to any meeting whatsoever, you go yourself and you ask the women whether they have any work in hand, they will say no. Hardly 10, 15 here and there would get some work in the government schemes. So I think this is also something which needs our concern.
You spoke about Odia Asmita. What do you mean by Odia Asmita, and how is your sense of Odia Asmita different from that of the BJD or Naveen Babu's?
See, Odia Asmita means our self-pride, right? Odia Asmita means we need to have people here in Orissa with employment initiatives. If we are first in the country as far as unemployment is concerned, it's definitely about Odia Asmita. It's a question of our Atma Samman, it's a question of our self-respect. When we have everything, why should we be the worst in the country as far as employment ventures are concerned? Number two, if we have everything, why should we be so poor? Why should the people of the country look at us with a negative mindset? So I think Odia Asmita is an expression with a wide connotation. It's not just limited to Bhasha, Sanskriti, Parampara. Of course, we are very proud of our Bhasha, of our Sanskriti, of our Parampara. Now here is a chief minister. He has been there for 23 years. I'm not saying no to that. Here is a chief minister who cannot converse with the people in Odia. Now this is Odia Asmita. It's a question of our self-respect. Number two, he is remote controlled by somebody else who is from Tamil Nadu. We talk of one nation, one governance, this, that. We are not saying anything against anybody staying in any part of the country. But the fact remains that this gentleman, he speaks Odia in Tamil language, which hurts the sentiments of the people of Orissa. And I must tell you that there is a question of Lord Jagannath aura here. There is an issue. Lord Jagannath happens to be the backbone of our lives here. I mean, we cannot visualize a household here in Odisha without having a place, a worshipping place without Lord Jagannath statue. Entire day puja archana chalti rehti hai. So here what happens, there is a Ratna Bhandar of Lord Jagannath. Huge amounts of jewelry, all kinds of, the assets, the property of Lord Jagannath were there. Suddenly we find that the key to that Ratna Bhandar is lost. Now there is a temple management trust under the aegis of the government. So how come that the key was lost? Then they went for a duplicate key. There was an uproar in the state. Now anything and everything attached to Lord Jagannath hits us hard. We Odiyas are like that. So when the Odiyas, the 4.5 crore Odiyas got to know that the Odia, the key is missing, and there was an uproar, they went for duplicate key. Now we at this juncture are not sure whether certain things have come out from there. What has happened, what has been done with that duplicate key. There was an uproar, the judicial commission was set up. Then the judicial commission also gave a report after proper inquiry. The report was not made public by the state government. So that's the issue. So it's the issue of Lord Jagannath. It's the issue of Odia self-pride, which is Odia Asmita. We are poor. Our boys and girls are unemployed. 42% of our young boys and girls within the age group of 15 to 29 years are unemployed.
Ma'am, you said having someone from outside the state who speaks Odia with a Tamil accent, etc., is something that hurts Odia pride. But you yourself are not from this state. So don't you feel there is some contradiction in the fact that you are not from this state and you are attacking someone?
Very good question. You have to ask this question to all the people of Odisha. I am the daughter-in-law of this place. There is a difference. I mean, you understand. Here in Odisha, Mahalakshmi is worshipped hugely every day. Mahalakshmi is worshipped every day. The prasad of Mahalakshmi is first given to the daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law leaves everything and comes here. I had a different surname in Bihar. I came here, I changed my surname. I'm an absolute Odia because I'm the daughter-in-law, so that's it. And you, in fact, I need not be talking about it. You talk to the people here. So the daughter-in-law is the daughter-in-law of the state. The daughter-in-law belongs to the state.
So can I just ask you, Odia pride, for people from Odia, Orissa, that there should be, it's almost a federalism. How can the BJP claim to be an Odia party? They are saying Hindi everywhere. Now they've retracted that because of the southern reaction. So how can they have more Odia pride than the BJD, which is essentially, as you said, so many years an Orissa family?
Don't you realize that BJD, though being a regional party, has failed miserably?
I'm asking BJP.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
BJD has failed to protect Odia pride. I gave you examples. See, it's not a question of Bhasha, Sanskriti and Parampara. It's not a question of Mahaprabhu Jagannath only. It's a question of poverty also. It's a question of unemployment also. It's a question of distress migration also. Hundreds and thousands of boys and girls go to Tirupur in Tamil Nadu for small pittance. And they go to Surat. You see the textile factories. You go to the brick kilns of Hyderabad. Hundreds and thousands of Odias go. The Vidhan Sabha, the assembly which Chief Minister represents, has one of the highest distress migration cases. It's Hinjli cut. So they all go to Surat. It's distress migration. I mean, if you go for richer pastures, absolutely, greener pastures, there's absolutely no problem. Why can't we have, so I'll give you an example, value addition. Ores come out. I told you about the percentage of ores that we have. Ores come out. Ores are not treated here. No value addition is done.
The BJP has ruled over a state of Bihar and it's the poorest state in the country. So it's not that you'll do any better, so you can criticize the other. I'm talking about Orissa pride. And how can a North Indian party have Orissa pride?
I can only say that Bharatiya Janata Party is in Orissa, has huge acceptance among the Odias, and we have decided to uphold the importance attached to our Bhasa, our Sanskriti, our Sabhyata, right? We are talking of opening the 4 gates of Lord Jagannath. We are talking of getting the key to the Ratna Bhandar, right? And we are talking of making the evaluation done of whatever jewelry, etc. inside. So there is commitment and to restore Odisha pride. And we cannot have, and one more thing I must tell you. If you go into the projects here, big projects, I'm talking of irrigation projects, I'm talking of huge roads, construction of hospitals, you will see small projects are bundled together and they are tendered. Now you will see, इसे हम उड़िया में अन उड़िया बोलते हैं, non Odias coming and grabbing. So that is also one aspect. Jal, Jangal, Jameen. Jal, Jangal, Jameen. If you make an analysis, you will find huge number of non-Odias. And more so, I must say more so, Dakshin Bharat ke log. They are into all these sectors. They grab all the projects. Now I'll give you an example. The hospitals all over, district headquarter hospitals. To district headquarter hospitals also, the laboratory tests were given to a particular party from Tamil Nadu. Now there are people who are good enough in Orissa. In 23 years, you could have kind of upgraded the skill of the people of Orissa. It was never done. So my point is, it's an expression with a wide connotation. We are here to protect the interests of Lord Jagannath and people associated with Lord Jagannath. You know, Lord Jagannath is our life. They have miserably failed. So this is one part. Bhasha. Do you want a chief minister who cannot speak in Odia? And do you call it Odia pride? Prime Minister, when he comes, no, I mean, it has been told that whenever our chief minister comes, he will be an Odia, Jio or Po, mane, daughter or son. That's what Prime Minister has said. So Naveen Patnaik ji is an Odia. I am not saying no to that. But can he speak in Odia? How can you converse? How can you have samvad with the people? How can you have the samvad with the people? So this is something which is hurting us. One. Number two, the governance style also smacks of non-Odia culture. See, I have been an officer here for umpteen number of years. I left the service and I'm here, but I was here for about 19 years. Then I went to Government of India for 5 years. I was working as Joint Secretary. Now, to isolate the CM, not allowing him to meet anybody, is it right? It hurts the sentiments of, I would say, Odias. I would say Odias. In my constituency, there was a huge uproar a couple of months back. There is a place called Deras. It's an irrigation canal, and 300 acres of farmers' land, Odia farmers' land, had been kind of, encroached up. I mean, the passage of water to those 200 acres of land had been stopped by one Tamil lady. He is a mining mafia, his wife. I mean, you can always find out her name. And we had a huge fight, and ultimately the 300 acres, but then she has a farmhouse hugely. No tahsildar, nobody can actually touch her because, she's aligned with the person, the power that be. So I think, I tell you, this entire Odia pride, Odia asmita, Odia self-respect is a term with a huge connotation, and we are feeling it on day-to-day basis.
Madam, for 20 years, the same Chief Minister who probably spoke even less Odia at the beginning, the people of Orissa have reposed confidence in him, and there have been projects like Vedanta which have been turned down. There was a project by the Koreans, if you remember, for the steel plant which was turned down. But the question is it there is the bureaucracy that's involved too in setting up plants and moving things? Has the politicians failed, or the bureaucrats failed, or have both failed? Because for 20 years, this state has voted for this man.
No, I tell you, I would hold the Chief Minister responsible. I can never say that a bureaucrat is responsible. I have been a bureaucrat.
That's
Is the
why you
Chief
can't
Minister
say.
responsible? Right? It's the Chief Minister who is responsible for something which is not happening on the ground. I am not saying no. The problem is when the bureaucrat becomes super Chief Minister.
Pandian versus Odia fight. Essentially, is what you're saying.
Unfortunately, I mean, you should not isolate the Chief Minister.
Would you say that for the BJP, the one issue in this election is Pandyan?
I'm telling you one thing.
You worked with him probably.
A couple of months, or rather I would say years back, I have worked with the Chief Minister. Chief Minister was good enough. Unfortunately, this gentleman took advantage of his failing health, isolated him, and then he actually isolated him. The Chief Secretary, the DG Police, nobody can meet him, right, without the permission of this gentleman. So that is one part. But the other part also, as I told you, Jal, Jangal, Jameen, everything grabbed by non-Odias, this is also a big issue. Why can't our Odia boys and girls get the tenders? Why hasn't their skill been upgraded? So if you stay here, if you get into many things, I would say again, third time, Odia pride, Odia asmita is a term with a wide connotation. Yeah. And now Bharatiya Janata Party is headed by the Prime Minister. I would say is sensitive to many issues in many states. Not a question of grabbing power, etc. I wish you could see the road shows of Prime Minister here. Amazing. I mean, in Bhubaneswar it happened. I thought there would be 50,000 to 1 lakh people, and there were 2 lakh people, and the kind of uproar they made and the kind of the belligerence.
But ma'am, you didn't answer Durab's question. Here is a man who you say doesn't speak Odia, but has been re-elected by the people every single time, and may even now get re-elected at least at the state level, even if they don't necessarily.
You're right, longest serving Chief Minister in the history of India.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that also an issue of asmita.
No, I am
So
not saying
obviously
that.
the people have some faith in him, some respect for him, they have something. Otherwise, how has he carried
No,
this
I'm not
party?
saying that. But the point is, this time he's going because health is failing. Nothing against the Chief Minister. I have worked with him. Nothing against. But we want him to take the reins in his hands. This is also Odia asmita. We want a person with people's mandate to have reins in his hands.
What would you say if he wins the state assembly? Leave the Lok Sabha.
Is he winning?
I'm asking you, what
No,
would you say if he
he
wins?
is not winning. Our chief minister is taking the oath on 10th of June. This is what the prime minister has said. So that's how it is. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
spending the
Thank you
time
so
with
much.
us.
Thank you.